Going live in 5, 4. You're supposed to be doing that. 3,
3,
2,
and
1.
just,
I don't think we're live yet.
just for fun, I had to clap something. All right,
You
we're
had to,
live.
are we
Right.
live?
Yes, we're live.
Okay, there's the notification. Okay, good.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. This is Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro. And we normally do Friday faves. You might be wondering, I know you're waiting at your computer, just like, where are the Friday faves? And, it just wasn't going to happen because I had to work a really long day. And somehow, when I passed the hour Friday faves, I forgot about Friday faves. And then I realized
the hour. Past the hour of Friday faves.
I was on to the future, which was dinner. But thanks to Kevin, we decided to do our Saturday salutations.
Saturday salutations.
In lieu of Friday faves. So, bear with us. So we still want to say hi. So hence the salutations.
We may end up liking Saturday salutations even better than Friday faves because this is like the greeting.
This is where the shift happens.
This is where the shift happens.
Shift. Make sure the F's in there.
Did I not have the F?
No. I'm just trying to make sure I say it.
You were so proper all the time.
Am I? Yeah. That's why people think I'm like this Miss Goody Two Shoes.
I think you get so concerned that somebody may have heard something else than me saying shift. Either that or you have low expectations of me, and you have salacious expectations of my language.
Yes. And, well, I came up with some different names that probably were not what I thought they meant, and I'm glad we went with salutations.
Salutations, yes.
But we don't have to be too serious. We can, have fun too.
Yeah.
So, well, in light of this, since it seems like Kevin and I are doing some of our episodes together on Saturdays, we might just go ahead and do Saturday salutations, and everyone, it's probably a little easier to chime in on a Saturday when people aren't rushing home from work if they leave the home for work.
I know they'll be crushed because most people were probably waiting till Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific to catch us because, and they're, because they have nothing else to do on a Friday evening, like us apparently. But
well, we've been committed. We've been pretty consistent, I would say. We even if we only have time for Friday faves, we do it. So, pat ourselves on the back. But I think Saturday salutations might be kind of a perfect type of title for our saying hi to everybody and give our gratitudes for the week as well, or whatever you want to call it. We'll find another word for it.
Well, I like salutation because it is sort of saying hi, right? It's a chance for us to check in, say hi, and it's a chance for us to give sort of a Saturday morning greeting or mid-afternoon greeting, depending on where you are in the country, to the listeners. And it's kind of a simple thing, and most people, I think, are able to participate that way. So welcome everybody to Saturday salutations with the Change Physician, and it's a pleasure to see you, or to imagine you out there seeing us, since we can't actually physically see you. But how are you doing, Melissa?
I'm good. I know it's a beautiful day in Austin. I hope what's it like over there? You guys have
beautiful, other than the fire, which is not near us, and thank goodness. But yeah, good. Up here it's great.
Okay, well, good. Just checking on your region. We're not quite bi-coastal. We're kind of, I don't know, halfway. But we normally touch on our episodes. Do you want to touch on those, or do you want me to do that?
I would be happy to do that today. Okay. So the past episodes that were published just this last week would have been The Devil You Know versus The Devil You Don't Know, which is all about becoming comfortable with uncertainty. So we will tend to, this is more important actually if people have a pretty traumatic family background or early life stress. Well, oftentimes we will be satisfied with miserable, this comfortable with the certainty of misery, rather the uncertainty of something unknown. Mm-hmm. And so that's all about, well, where do you sit in this? Are you being satisfied with something that you shouldn't be satisfied simply because it is no? Or are you being willing to kind of push the little boundaries a little bit and get some practice with being uncertain? Do things that are unknown, explore new experiences, meet new people, go to new places, specifically because they're new and they can provide you that input, and perhaps you find something better, including a job. The episode after that was Mindful Living with Dr. Palavan. I think she goes by Dr. Sogol because her sister, who she started to practice with down in Houston, also goes by Dr. Palavan. So they go by their first names. Another great episode. It talks about her early journeys where someone was pretty driven, and then kind of everything kind of came to a head. And there's this, we mentioned it last week, actually. There was a quote in there from a family member that's pretty stopped me in the tracks when I heard it. And she talked about her journey and kind of become more mindful and more in the moment and more understanding what's important in her life. So great episode there. And then the other two was about, actually, I'm going to let you talk about that one because I don't remember that episode. It just got highlighted.
It is a happy talent to know how to play. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah. So, I just, sometimes we're so serious in our work and kind of get on the hamster wheel and go. And sometimes we kind of, as we get into our adulthood, sometimes we kind of lose touch with that knowing how to play. It's always about taking care of business and taking care of kids, managing a household and all these things. And I say I at times need help with this because we can always find something to do, and it's a huge challenge for me, and I know it's for other people as well. So a really good conversation about that and some of the things you can do to help create a little bit more play in your life. And the one that's to follow, which, see, today is the 17th, so that one's going to be rolling out next day.
Yeah.
And then this coming Thursday, no one cares more about you than you, which I see that a lot, because sometimes we kind of take a passive role or perspective in life, and almost like things happen to you, or that you're waiting for other people to kind of help things happen. But really, you have to realize that no one cares more about you than you.
And that's not a bad thing. That's the other thing
not
we talk about.
Selfish, narcissistic way, but like literally looking out for yourself and making things happen in your life. So we dive down that rabbit hole in episode 113. So make sure to look out for that. If you follow us on Instagram, sometimes I'm not consistent on rolling out our little posts, and so there'll be some that are rolling out to remind you of some of the episodes, but I do try to roll those out a little bit after they come out or around the time they come out, so you can be reminded of what's coming up or just happened. So any other comments about those, Kevin?
No, other than I do think that that no one cares more about you than you is it's easy to say, it's much more difficult to do. Yeah, I mean, we could probably do about 6 episodes on that one right there, just because so much of it depends on your upbringing, what you were kind of told, whether these giving expectations, and we've done episodes on that, giving versus taking. Yes. But it really is, I mean, the whole analogy about putting the mask on in the airplane when they say, put your mask on first before the loved ones, is so critical. And yet I think, like, here we are talking about it, and I think about it all the time, is how often do I forget to do that, in the thick of trying to look out for somebody else. Or maybe I'm actually really good and just super selfish. I don't know, but it's a tough one. But it's definitely something I think that physicians in particular, it's easy to fall into the trap of, oh, they need me. And then we get lost in the process there, and that's not good.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally agreed. Well, we always like to flip this into things that we're the most grateful for. We always say Friday faves, like our favorite things. We're going to find an S word for things that bring us sanity. I don't know.
Same Saturdays.
Sanity Saturdays. Yeah, I was going to say something else. I'll keep that to myself.
Well, I was like, well, we could probably, find out, if we could figure out who we can give greetings to, that would be fun too. We can almost, like Dr. Sogol. Hey, there's a salutation for you to Dr. Sogol Palavan.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
Another idea. That's the beauty of podcasts, and when you run it yourself, you can evolve it just how you'd like. So, but for now, something that gives you serenity, sanity. What was the thing over this past week that you just have to share? Sharing.
Well, Saturday. This doesn't have to do with sanity, and it could probably drive people insane. Yeah. But for whatever reason, my future brain, because again, it shoots out so far, I've been thinking about this whole financial independence thing. And then and we've talked about in this previous episodes, I have a lot of uncertainty. I'm not comfortable with uncertainty. And you kind of look at your savings and things. So there's this awesome resource. I learned about it, I think, a year or so ago. It is the cheesiest website you will ever see, but it's called firecalc.com. And what's really, really awesome about this is it uses something called a Monte Carlo simulation, and you can kind of put in your numbers for when you are financially independent, and it can do these projections that'll give you a pretty good idea on what the likelihood is that you'll reach there. So I've been messing around with that for, I guess it's about a year now, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's kind of fun to do, and you can put in this, and what if there's no Social Security, or what if I take Social Security here? And I found that very satisfying in a weird, obsessive, compulsive type of way, because it allows me to sort of make these projections rather than just live them in my head, where I'm just thinking, well, what if? This makes me to put some actual data behind the what if, and I found it really, really useful. Maybe you guys will find it as useful as I did. So that's my favorite thing for the week.
And I added the link into the Facebook comments, so you can click on that and go to work and figure out all this stuff he's talking about. And probably explore all kinds of different resources that could take you down a rabbit hole, but give you perspective. So I'm gonna probably mess with that myself and see what I think. Let's see, for this past week, there was something that I was going to mention last week that I totally forgot to mention. And I can't believe I'm blanking on it. It was last week. I was supposed to mention it last time, but well, I just guess it's not going to happen. Well,
you're just saving it for yourself is what you're doing. This is a selfish Saturday for you, where you just don't want to share. It's not a sharing Saturday.
Yeah. Well, let me say, I don't know if I said it on the previous Friday Faves, but I had some pineapple guava trees planted. And so I'm hoping they will produce some lovely, beautiful, edible flowers and, of course, the fruits that come along with that.
Pineapple guava?
Yes. Look it up.
That's an actual, like, that's the fruit, pineapple guava?
What's the name of the tree? It's not like a pineapple. It looks, I don't know how to
Is it a
describe
guava that tastes like pineapple? No, you got me super curious.
Well, yeah, it's an evergreen. So I wanted something that was evergreen. I don't want some deadly looking thing in the winter.
Yeah.
And then it's great for all the pollinators. See it?
I do see it.
I would
it's
love
guava-like.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's gonna be more of a hedge, not like shrub kind of thing, not a like a tree the way I'm gonna have it. But I'm hoping that it produces well. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
They're really
That's a nice looking plant. And I'm not a plant person. Those flowers are very nice. And then when it doesn't have the flowers, actually, it's quite nice as well.
Exactly. So
the pineapple guava may be one of my favorite things now.
Well, there you go. Cool. Well, someone opened my eyes to it when I went to a nursery, and I had never heard of it. So it's like, wow. And they seem to prosper in our environment and climate. So I was like, well, if I can eat a flower, I can put it in a nice drink and eat the flower, or put it in a salad.
You can eat the flowers too, huh?
Yeah, they're edible flowers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's my favorite. That's what I'm going to share for.
Well, you're making me jealous because you're like planting all this stuff, and I'm like, oh man, we should be planting more.
Well, it looks a little leggy right now. It looks kind of like it doesn't have the flower and the fruit on right now, but I know just give it time and water and nutrients and patience.
It'll fill out.
I too will get to experience the beauty of a pineapple guava tree.
Of the pineapple guava. Who knows? That may be your new thing. You may become the pineapple guava doc.
And for 1 year, I got a warranty on it. So if we get another freeze that doesn't tolerate, they will replace all of them for free.
How many did you put in?
6.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, it's right along the side of our house. So I figured, and there's no windows on that side. It's kind of like a barren area. So I thought, oh, this will be nice. So there you go. That's my
right on.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it. So I feel very special to share something you don't know because that's very rare.
I don't know a lot about plants. That's
I don't either. But that's the beauty of gardening or doing stuff in the yard. Like there is endless. Like you want your brain to keep going, you want to keep moving. Like you realize why people become like lifetime gardeners. Like
well, but I'm gonna, as long as you're willing to learn,
yes.
there's so much out there to learn. I was talking to somebody else out there, and they're like, "Oh, you know this, that," and I'm like, "But I go, here's my spheres. Like, I know this, I know this, I know this, and I knew these pretty well."
Right.
And what's really cool about the A is you start recognizing what you don't know, which is have we done that? We probably need an episode on that, like the importance of understanding what you don't know. And the other thing is, and then you start seeing all these other things. It actually made me a little depressed. I'm gonna reveal something here, but I have been in a bit of a funk for the last couple of months, and this is so stupid. Like now I talk about it, it's like the dumbest thing, is that you just realize that you can't learn everything. Like I'm
No.
like, it's so
You gotta
sad.
be okay with it.
It makes me sad.
I
It makes me
know.
like so sad.
You know those things in the bathroom where you read these like quotes from people of different ages? Like I've had this thing like
Are you talking about you? Wait, are you reading the quotes on the bathroom walls that people are writing when you're in
my
those?
wall. I
Oh,
have
okay. I was
like
thinking like the public stalls. I've read those too. They're usually little
not
limericks.
those, not call me at 888. Anyway, no, this is like one of those posters that I bought like literally 30 years ago. And but it has like it just says like a quote and the age. And the one at the bottom, it gets me every time. It's like a 92-year-old and says, I've learned in my life that I have a lot to learn. That was her quote. And I'm like, at 92, it's like, you're still probably going to say that in your 90s. So, yeah.
Absolutely. If
So
you're
that,
not saying that in your 90s, there's a problem.
yeah.
There's a Ray Dalio quote, which I do like too. He goes, if you can't look back at yourself in a year and say how ignorant you were, you're not learning enough.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I
it's the
like that.
same concept as success follows failures too. It's like you have to fail at something to learn to be successful at something, or you're just damn lucky.
Yeah, that doesn't
You
carry
only
far.
can fly on that for so long.
But it does get a little absurd because you're just like, oh man, there's so much. It just gets
I know.
overwhelming.
I
So
know.
much. So much.
Especially if you're the person that what drives you sometimes is just knowing, which in physicians this is a common problem. Because your worth is gauged on what you know to help people. Um,
And there's actually some danger to it because
yes.
the desire to know is associated with what's called cognitive closure. So if you hear a question and you can't stop thinking about it until you have an answer to the question, that's called a high need for cognitive closure, and it's actually associated with some worse health outcomes. And I know that because not that I have adverse health outcomes, but I have a very high need for cognitive closure. I get kind of irritated if people ask me a question because then I have to answer it. Like I'm like looking up this stuff, and yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like another episode.
It does. Yeah.
Well, I guess take us out.
All right. Well, hey, folks, welcome or thanks for joining us on this Saturday for Saturday Salutations. And as always, if you are a physician or physician ally, you can join us at the community, thechangedphysician.com. Comment on the video if you have something interesting or if you would like us to talk about something specific in the future. And until next time, stay well.
Take care.